India Today's cover story in the India Today magazine has triggered a rampaging war between the fan armies of two of the biggest superstars of this country. Both of them happen to be from the south, but make no mistake, they are Indian superstars. On the one hand is Prabhas, most famous for the Bahubali series, and on the other side is Allu Arjun, a superstar by every account, who is the person featured on the latest cover of India Today magazine. And this cover of Allu Arjun in the latest issue of India Today magazine has triggered an ugly fight between the legions of fans of both these superstars. What is the fight about? I'm going to tell you right here on 5 Live. Once again, the country's most read news magazine sets the agenda, triggers the debate, and in this case has become the battlefield of a escalating fight between the huge fan armies of two of the biggest Indian superstars. I'm Shiv Arur. Thanks as always for being with me on 5 Live. The headlines first. Clear edge for NDA's Draupadi Murmu against opposition's Yashwant Sinha in the presidential election race. Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah, chief ministers and other parliamentarians cast their vote today.
नैतिक दलों में तोड़फोड़ करवाने का काम कर रही हैं, लोगों को इस बात के लिए बाध्य कर रही हैं कि वो उनके पक्ष में वोट डालें और पैसे का भी खेल हो रहा है.
India Today's 2016 interview of Vice President candidate Margaret Alva creates ripples. Alva claimed VVIP chopper scam linked to the Gandhis. BJP targets Congress. Asks, is this candidature a peace deal with Margaret Alva? NDA nominee Jagdeep Dhankar files his nomination for the post of Vice President. Opposition nominee former Union Minister Margaret Alva to file papers tomorrow. Polling on August the 6th. Parliament monsoon session kicks off. Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day after protests. Prime Minister Modi appeals for a productive session, but will that happen? Maharashtra roadways bus plunges into the Narmada River in Madhya Pradesh. Over 13 dead, 15 rescued. It really is incredible how a magazine cover can trigger the kind of fight between superstar fan armies of the kind we're seeing in this day and age. And obviously, it's only India Today magazine that can achieve that. Superstar cover wars have erupted, and how over the two India Today magazine covers that you're looking at right now. The cover on the left is the latest issues cover, which has triggered this battle and has resulted in the cover on the right, which is from many months ago, being revived by fans of the other superstar Prabhas to attack the fans of the man on your left. He needs no introduction. He is Allu Arjun. Locked in this battle are millions of fans of these two superstars who happen to both be from the south, who recently have made an enormous mark among Hindi audiences as well. They are truly Indian superstars, but their fans are going at each other in the most virulent way possible, all thanks to these two India Today covers. India Today magazine released its latest issue on July the 15th, featuring Pushpa star Allu Arjun. The cover titled The South Swag. Well, Allu Arjun fans who were raving about this viral cover were met with an ugly rebuttal from the fans of superstar and Bahubali protagonist Prabhas. Prabhas's fans say that his own cover, the one you see on your right, was a more organic cover. It was a more natural cover. The Prabhas viral magazine issue was released way back in May 2017, titled Epic Blockbuster. This was at the time when Bahubali was coming out. Meanwhile, Team Allu Arjun has claimed that Prabhas's public relations team is deliberately reviving the older India Today magazine issue as Allu Arjun's cover is gaining traction and therefore posing a threat in some manner to Prabhas. It's incredible. two simple pictures on two simple covers of India Today magazine, the country's #1 news magazine, have triggered a war between the legions of fans, a war between the public relations machinery of these two actors. Remember, Allu Arjun and Prabhas are both absolute superstars. They've got huge films that they've done in the recent past, and crores of production money continues to ride on these two superstars. They've now made headlines where the battlefield happens to be two India Today magazine covers. Allu Arjun, remember, has made his bones in the biggest way possible recently with the blockbuster Pushpa. And it is his body of recent work that had persuaded India Today magazine to feature Allu Arjun on the cover. The cover has gone, let's put that cover on our screens, that cover has gone enormously viral. It has become the talking point on social media, on YouTube, everywhere. It's become the object of a great deal of praise, and it has become the trigger point for the revival of a May 2017 cover featuring superstar Prabhas. It's an incredible escalation. Remember that stars often need to stay in the headlines. Nobody needs any help when it comes to superstars like Allu Arjun and Prabhas. They are superstars without having to even try, but their fan armies have truly taken it to the next level on the basis of these two covers. Deepali Patel of our Entertainment Bureau is live with me. Deepali, incredible. You know, the South swag was this cover of India Today magazine, and the fans of Prabhas have dug up a 2017 Bahubali cover to attack Allu Arjun's team and Allu Arjun's PR machinery, and his fans saying, "Arey, ye to PR hai, hamara natural or organic tha." Unbelievable. Two India Today covers sparking this big war, Deepali.
Yes, of course, Shiv. These fan wars are very common, especially when it comes to South actors. I will bring to your notice that this India Today magazine cover, July issue, which features Allu Arjun, has, caught a lot of attraction. Like, there have been like 8 lakh plus likes, and there have been so many comments of the fans. But when it comes to comparing it with Prabhas's magazine cover, I mean, fans are, comparing it unnecessarily, especially for the fact that Allu Arjun was the only actor during the pandemic to pull the crowd when the film industry was struggling to get moolahs at the box office. Also, Prabhas's Bahubali, which released in 2017-2018, Bahubali 2 was released pre-pandemic, in the pre-pandemic era. So that is the difference. Bahubali earned it earned around 500 crore at the box office in India at that point of time, and Allu Arjun's this film Pushpa raked in around 300 crore rupees, over 300 crore rupees during the pandemic. It's a huge thing, and I think both deserve equal amount of attention from the fans, and there's no sort of war between the two fan clubs. I believe that both of them deserve the same equal amount of fandom, and there shouldn't be any fight between the fan clubs.
Okay, so but the stars themselves may actually have very cordial relations, but nobody has very much control over their over their fans. Of course, there's a lot of public relations at play, but the kind of visceral reactions to the cover suggest that there's something else afoot here, because these things really matter. Being on the cover of India Today magazine is one of the biggest things you can achieve in any profession in this country. So let's make that very, very clear. Suhani Singh, my friend and deputy editor of India Today magazine, who wrote this fabulous cover story on Allu Arjun, is also with me live from Mumbai. Suhani, are you surprised by this? I mean, the cover going viral is one thing. I remember how the 2017 cover also went viral. But now you've got legions of their fans on both sides, going at each other, like it's an actual Bahubali battle.
Yeah, I mean, I must say this that I think one of the reasons why the cover has also gone viral is that the actors in South cinema are not known to be too social media savvy. If you see Allu Arjun's social media handle, the last post that he did was on Environment Day. So when he shares this cover, it's Allu Arjun sharing something after almost a month, and clearly it's India Today. You know, it's India Today magazine is a prestige thing, you know, to be on the cover of the magazine. So I think that is something that was one of the reasons why it took a lot of traction. I must say this, Shiv, that the story, and I know the Prabhas fans are upset, but the
Yeah.
story talks about how in the past 7 months we have seen these three big South films, which began with Pushpa. Pushpa the Rise was the one which was a fire starter. It basically was the trigger, as my colleague
Yeah.
beforehand was saying, that it single-handedly revived single-screen cinemas. You know, when it hit the screens in December, and 7 months later, we are still talking about Pushpa. Its soundtrack.
Crazy.
You know, that it's going to be a part two, which is going to come out in 2023, and then after that, we had RRR, which is Mr. Rajamouli's big budget action spectacle, which is making Hollywood crazy too. And then you had KGF, right? The Kannada film, which had Yash in it. So we are looking at, as much as Allu Arjun is sort of the epitome of looking at the South resurgence that has happened. I wouldn't even call it a resurgence. It's actually a tsunami of sorts, right? Which has
Correct.
put Bollywood on the tenterhooks and made sort of Hindi cinema go like, what are we not doing right? Why is it that
Totally.
nationwide, people are going and watching these actors? And I think if Allu Arjun sort of became the face for us because, Prabhas was the face for us in 2017 to document the Bahubali phenomena, which started the pan-India phenomena. And Allu Arjun is sort of continuing on that tide, So I think overall the Telugu, film buffs should be happy that two of their biggest actors in their industry have graced the cover of India Today magazine. Yeah.
This is always going to be really amazing for me. Suhani, stay with me because I've got more questions, and I actually have so many questions because this is a world that is a little alien to many of us, certainly to me. But this is, one India Today magazine cover. This cover of Allu Arjun on the cover of India Today magazine has resulted in a free-for-all fight between fans of Allu Arjun and Prabhas. I mean, it's incredible. One magazine cover and another magazine cover from 5 years ago has been revived and become part of this viral war. Nabila is also joining our coverage. Deepali and Suhani continue to stay with me. Nabila, it was Team Prabhas and not his PR team, I'm not saying that, but his fans who have somehow been triggered by this entire cover and, fired the first shot, igniting this very ugly war between fans on both sides. You've interviewed many of these stars, Nabila. What are you making of this? Are you surprised? Why would Prabhas's team react in this way?
Shiv, before I get to that, I have a bone to pick with Suhani, who's written that letter. I would say, why not Yash on the cover of India Today? Yash's KGF2 has raked up 1,180 crores. That's a whopping box office collection worldwide. I feel Yash should have been on the India Today cover, but nonetheless, I know where Suhani is coming from. The first time ever in history, an Indian actor has raked up 5 billion views for his album Pushpa the Rise. And that's possibly why this was a news peg big enough for Allu Arjun to be on the cover of India Today magazine. It's clearly the most prestigious platform to be on, and which is why a magazine that's most read in many of the southern parts of the country, we see fan clubs, be it Prabhas's fan club or Allu Arjun's fan club, locking on who exactly is the man or the face when you have a title below that says South Swag. To take you through some of those Twitter comments here, we see some of them saying, by the way, if the magazine thinks that Allu Arjun is a South Swag, it's exaggeration. All right, and then you have people like, here saying Prabhas fans should troll the ones who publicized Prabhas negatively and not poke at other actors. And then you have a few more saying that, Allu Arjun's PR team has been overactive, while Prabhas's, Prabhas's presence or his mention on the cover of India Today magazine back in 2017 was more organic. I mean, there's no doubts here that Prabhas and Allu Arjun in the Telugu film industry are big names. They have huge fan bases. In fact, stars credible in their own right. But when we talk about box office collections, let me tell you, Bahubali has raked up 1,810 crores, which is the highest so far till date of any South movie or any movie for that matter coming from India. So Prabhas, certainly when it comes to box office collections, is on top. And then takes the lead is Yash with 1,198 crores. And then you have Triple R. Triple R has raked up 1,100 crores. And Pushpa the Rise at 350 crores. Yes, not to the level of Bahubali, not to the level of Prabhas. But Allu Arjun at this point is certainly the flavor of the season with his upcoming movie also now bringing in a lot many views, millions of views on that album at this point.
Very, this is the thing about the aggression with which these two covers are being tweeted, posted on Facebook, put out on Instagram with elaborate descriptions, reasoning why fans are feeling so intensely about this is not surprising whatsoever. As far as cinema from the southern part of the country is concerned, it's been having an incredible run. It has overshadowed in many ways cinema from other parts of the country, especially so-called Bollywood and the Mumbai film industry for quite a while now. And as Suhani was saying, there is a sense of realization as well about everyone wanting a piece of the action, really, as far as so-called South cinema is concerned. But Suhani, since you cover cinema, since you write about these stars, you also know about the wheels within wheels, that turn behind the scenes. There's a lot of public relations. Many of these stars have highly organized fan bases. They're not just, a scattering of people online. They've got fan clubs, they've got, presidents and secretaries and general secretaries and meetings and merchandise and things like that. How does all of that fit into something like this?
Yeah, in fact, I mean, when I was in Hyderabad, and I met his team, I was told that he has a logo of his own which goes as AA, and in fact, some of his team members, who have been with him for years, have actually even got it tattooed on them. So there is loyalty. Allu Arjun is one of the few Telugu actors, from my research, I have been told, who is extremely popular in Kerala too. His film Arya, which is actually also Arya and Arya 2, which is directed by the same director of Pushpa, that is Sukumar. That's a huge sensation in Kerala, and because of which he's known as Allu Arjun actually in Kerala. So, Allu Arjun's fan base is, obviously we're not going to compare the fan bases, but I'll say another thing, when it comes to these fan clubs. When we talk about swag, it's something, I'm speaking to a couple of people, and Alia Bhatt once mentioned it to me when I asked her about, who for her was her favorite actor. And she said Allu Arjun's swagger in Pushpa was something that just stayed with her. And she's like, that's not something that you can, practice or rehearse. It's something that's inherent. It comes naturally. And from there, the story sort of built up that I think all these actors, and this includes Prabhas, this includes Ram Charan, it includes Junior NTR, it includes Yash, they bring a certain style, they bring a certain attitude, which is what inspires this hero worship, which borders on almost, godlike worship.
Incredible.
Yeah, the fans are like, my God, look at this guy's attitude, look at this guy's aura, and we want to be like them, which is why Allu Arjun's Srivalli step, the beard, which is on the cover, the scruffing of the beard, these things catch on to your imagination, they stay on. And I think that's what I think people need to realize, that cinema which resonates is one which stays with you. And this South swag is what stays with us, which is why these films take the life that they do, not just on the big screen, but even on OTT platforms. Pushpa, RRR, KGF are huge on streaming.
You can't,
as well.
And the point is, you can't rig something like this. The enormous acclaim that these films have gotten, the huge adulation, the influence. I mean, people copying that Pushpa step endlessly, like Suhani said, talking about Pushpa all these months after the film came out. tells you that this is not some rigged, manufactured, artificial phenomenon. This is something true that India Today's cover has captured. Now, Allu Arjun is bigger than ever and is believed to be an unbeatable combatant in terms of box office numbers, and his uber cool performance and swag is written all over his screen presence. And I want to bring in actor Kasturi, well-known actor Kasturi, in on this, cover fan war that has broken out. Kasturi, welcome. Love to know what you think about this. Fan wars between, the fans of superstars are not something new, especially in South cinema. But what are you making of this? The depictions of Allu Arjun in this new cover have triggered fans of Prabhas from a cover in 2017 to mount this big attack. What do you think, Kasturi?
First of all, I have to express the positive points, which is, number one, we are super happy to see that times have changed in India, and from being a nationwide audience for the Khans and the Roshans, we are now talking about the Arjuns and the Prabhases as pan-Indian heroes, and it's a matter of pride for Indian cinema. I won't say South Indian cinema. It's a matter of pride that Telugu and Tamil cinema has come of age and has been recognized all across the nation. Thank you, India Today, for the lovely cover story you've done. It's beautiful. The cover is just stupendous. As far as the fan wars are concerned, ये सब तो होता रहता है. If you think about it, Allu Arjun comes from a very well-known film family, dynasty, and so does Prabhas. Prabhas is the nephew of actor and politician Mr. Krishnam Raju. So he also comes from a very prestigious film pedigree. And they are the best of friends. Not just them, even Mahesh Babu, Ram Charan.
Yeah.
This is a family. I work predominantly in Telugu now, and Telugu movie stars are absolutely extremely cordial to each other. There is no animosity in between them. That is why a film like RRR is possible, where two of the biggest stars get together and they are literally cooperating with each other in the movie. And, multi-stars are happening in Telugu frequently. So the Star Wars, I feel, is one segment is always radical, more vociferous than the other.
Yeah.
And then they make it sound like they represent the entire fan base of an actor.
Yeah.
I would say that the people who are creating all this confusion now are not 100% of Prabhas' fans. I'm a Prabhas fan from Paurnami days, and those are, that's a older movie, Varsham, Paurnami and all that. There are so many fans. Prabhas has a lot of lady fans also. He has a lot of female fans. And that is not the people who are making mayhem. And Allu Arjun fans as well. He has a huge fan base. His dance, he's probably arguably one of the best dancers in India today. So the fan war that's broken out now, yes, India Today should be held responsible for being reserved. It's because of that spectacular
we are
fans,
but Kasturi, we are fans of both Allu Arjun and Prabhas. We are fans of both the stars.
Yes, but you made that spectacular cover now, and you had a spectacular cover several years ago. So it's your fault. That's it.
Okay. Thanks.
But thank you. Jokes apart, thank you so much for focusing on these two Telugu superstars. I think we are going to see much more of them in the future. And we're going to see huge fan wars between them. Don't worry about that.
The fan wars are going to continue. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Kasturi, for giving us your views on that. These fan wars are legion, and it is not surprising that two iconic covers on India Today magazine issues, including the latest one with Allu Arjun, have triggered this kind of huge virality on social media. In this particular case, between two fan armies, but that really is what this is all about. It's a tribute to both these stars and to cinema that comes from the South. It has taken, a long time for different parts of the country to acknowledge it, but South cinema has always been front and center, perhaps superior to every other part of the country. I may be a little biased when I say that, but it really is perhaps true. My colleague Akshita also had a conversation with Bandeep Singh. Bandeep Singh is an icon, a colleague and a friend. He's group photo editor at India Today, one of the finest news photographers in the country. Bandeep shared some insights about shooting that iconic picture of Allu Arjun. Here's that conversation. Listen.
What was your first impression of Allu Arjun when you met him?
When I was, the impression was created even before I started the shoot. What happens is that, you are briefed about the star, the PR people are interacting with you, they're telling you about him. So the impression, and of course, when you prep up for the shoot, you're watching videos, you're watching bites, you're watching clips of the person, just to, kind of nail down on the body language. And the impression that I had about him when I saw his videos and interactions, that he is a very reticent kind of a person. He is not, the character that he plays in Pushpa, that out and out character with a lot of swag. He is very reticent, very shy, as typical of South Indian film stars and their superstars. They are a shade withdrawn into themselves. So he's very typically like that. And I was told that he's like that. So when he comes into the room, and he's wearing all black, and a black polo neck and a black trouser, and I can't see the other people are also wearing black, so I'm not immediately able to distinguish. But then he smiles and he says hi and he shakes his hand. So I'm to give him a little bit of a briefing about the shoot. So I have a one-line brief that these are hard lighting pictures to create a character, that you have played, somewhat create that character, and also make it emblematic of all the South Indian, the typical South Indian over-the-top characters that we have. And, so I told him, I said, the lighting is hard and you have to look hard at the camera. So this is no Pushpa, all fire.
Bringing Nabila back in for one final question. Nabila, do these wars between fan armies escalate to such a level that the stars themselves need to come in and send out a message? Or are these just something that kind of blow over ultimately?
Not if it's just any other magazine, Shiv. We're talking about India Today magazine, and the cover is a prestigious platform for any actor or any individual for that matter across the world, right? So for South stars, and like I said, India Today has great viewership in the South, especially the magazine is revered. And for India Today magazine to carry Allu Arjun with his typical Pushpa Raj style, his signature move that he has in the film, that's what's captured on the magazine cover, and it's called the South Swag. This may have irked many of the other stalwarts like Prabhas, rightfully so. But let me tell you, like Bandeep may have mentioned, in fact, Allu Arjun is very media friendly, speaks very well, has great familiarity within Bollywood as well, and across the globe. Prabhas, for that matter, shot to fame after Bahubali. So he saw this stardom like never before post-Bahubali. But nonetheless, Allu Arjun has been familiar with the North audience as well across India. Mostly Bollywood audience watched Allu Arjun hooked on his dubbed films all throughout. So they knew who Allu Arjun was. He has more familiarity across pan-India at this point. So for him to be on the cover of India Today magazine, truly justified.
Truly, truly justified, and I'm sure we're going to see many more, such things. Suhani continues to be with us. One final question with Suhani. I'll give her the last word because she's the deputy editor who wrote this fantastic piece, for which this is that viral cover. Suhani, looks like we're going to have a lot of South stars on our covers in the months and the years ahead. That's something we're going to have to make peace with.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, when I started out here, I thought my job was restricted to Hindi cinema. Then came the OTT platforms, and now suddenly, the South films are a force to reckon with. And I'm just going to say this: Nabila said that, why not Yash? And I'm just saying, KGF Chapter 3 is yet to come, and if KGF Chapter 2 has already become the second highest grossing film all time, who knows what KGF Chapter 3 holds. So you're right about this. I am most likely going to be writing about more of these actors and actresses too. Let's not rule out the actresses
Totally,
too. Yeah.
totally. And we look forward to that. Thanks very much, Nabila, Suhani, Deepali. The next India Today magazine, that's the nature of the beast. The point is it's constantly setting the agenda, constantly becoming a talking point. Not surprised whatsoever that it's become this new nugget for a war between fan armies. We will continue to bring you the very latest on this. In this particular case, it was India Today itself that had created the headline. Thanks very much, and we will continue to update you. Hopefully, the stars themselves will also speak out.